Good to go. All right, everyone. Hey. Good morning. I'm excited to talk about this. I wanted to come live yesterday, but I didn't have an opportunity to because I was busy with some other things. I'm actually in the middle of working, trying to finish up a private client's project as well as prepare for next week's workshop, published and paid challenge. And so I wanted to hop on this morning before my day got started. I have some meetings around 12 o'clock or whatnot. And then I have a session with my marketing strategist. So I wanted to make sure that I came on to talk about this, why writing your book is simply not enough. And this, just to give you all some background, this particular live stream was inspired by some interactions with people that I've had. Just inspired by some interactions with people that I've had, over time. People write their books, and then when it comes to the marketing, they get stuck. They don't progress. And then for some reason, they feel like they need to go and hire this person and that person and hire a social media manager and do all the things. And it was also inspired by a conversation that I had this morning. And then I got blocked. So I want to come and talk about it because I hear this and I see this all too often from people that I'm sure have created amazing works, but are really, really limiting themselves. And so that's what we're talking about today, why writing your book is not enough and what you need to do instead, especially if you want to go on to make a substantial amount of money from your words, from your book, from your expertise, and from your experiences. So I'm really looking forward to this particular stream, and I'm going to save this one. So if you have to hop off or whatnot, you can come back and watch it. All right. So for those of you all who are new to me, my name is Jasmine Womack, and I'm a professional writing consultant and online business growth coach for leaders and entrepreneurs who want to transform their $1 million message into a best-selling book and who also want to move forward to generate six figures or more by turning their book into a signature speech, into online courses and coaching programs. This is the work that I do on a daily basis. This is the work I do with my one-on-one clients. This is the work I do with my group coaching clients, and they are getting amazing results, right? And so I wanted to come on today because again, I had an interesting interaction with someone, and it needs to be talked about. It really truly does. So a young lady registered for my upcoming workshop, the Published and Paid Challenge. If you've never, been through any of my challenges, they are free, but they are anything but fluff. I actually give real strategy, real solutions, and many who have engaged and participated in my free online workshops or challenges have often left saying that they felt like they should have paid me for them. So if you have not, register, you definitely want to go register at www.publishedandpaidchallenge.com. But I had an interesting conversation with someone this morning, and she had registered for my challenge, but then she reached out to me via DM, and she said that she didn't think the challenge was for her because she read my description in the Facebook group, and she shared that she's already written and self-published about 5 or 6 books, and that she'd hired a publicist, and she was looking for more marketing, more branding, more business building strategies. And she asked if I had anything for published authors that focused on branding and business building. Now, me being the person that I am, when she asked me this, and hey everybody, hey Facebook, LinkedIn, hey YouTube, hey Instagram. But if you've been with me for a while, you know that I'm a very details oriented person and that I do my research. And so she didn't know, but once she told me that she had authored 5 or 6 books, I went and took a look at her page. I went to Amazon, I'm doing my research. And first I wanted to see what she was going to say. So I said, okay, well, what are your books about? And if you're comfortable with telling me, how much money have you made from your books in the past year? How much money have you made in the past year from your books and your extended programs and services? And so she responded and she told me what her books were about. And she also said, you know what? I haven't made a ton of money. The book that made the most money was the fiction book. And then she went on to share that she's hired a publicist and other people to help her because of her day-to-day responsibilities of being a mother, being a wife, and also being a student. She put her goals on the back burner, and she really felt some type of way about that. And of course, y'all know I can relate. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. If anybody's busy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand the life and I understand having to balance your day-to-day life, your challenges, trying to prioritize yourself and your own mental health, all while building a profitable business. I understand it all too well, especially when you're trying to build from the ground up. And so she didn't know, but I did take a look at her page, and literally in less than 15 seconds, I was able to identify at least 7 things that she needed to do in order to elevate her marketing and in order to elevate her messaging without the publicist. And so I told her, listen, I understand that you've already written 5 or 6 books, but this challenge will be good for you. And I also went on to explain to her that, listen, it is not about the number of books that you've written. It's not even about hiring a publicist. It's not about hiring a social media manager, but your messaging must be on point in order for any of that to work. Your messaging, I explained to her that your messaging needs to be targeted and it needs to be clear in order for any marketing or publicity efforts to work. And the challenge is going to be good for you because it's going to help you niche down and clarify those things. And this is one of the things that I see with many self-published authors all too much, especially those who have already written books, but they're not selling anything. You've written books, but you're not monetizing your intellectual property in any other type of way. You're not even selling the book that you've written. And what I see is a lot of, I'm not going to necessarily say entitlement, but an attitude of, well, I've already done this, so I don't need this type of help. But you're not getting results with what you've done. And if we know anything, that a good tree yields good fruit. You never have to wonder. A good tree is going to yield good fruit. So if you're not yielding good fruit in the forms of opportunities, if you're not yielding good fruit in the forms of additional finances, if you're not yielding good fruit in the forms of speaking engagements, so on and so forth, then you have to go back to the foundation and you have to go back to the root. And what I find is that many authors who have already written or self-published books don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear this. And it's the truth. And this is not coming from someone that's making this up off the top of their head. I'm not going to talk about, my progress, but just last night on our coaching calls, our students were throwing out the results that they were getting. You understand? And I'll get into that later. But this is one of the things that a lot of self-published authors don't want to hear. There might be, not all the time, but there might be something in the foundation that needs to be adjusted. And so when I told her that, hey, listen, your messaging needs to be on point, because in order for any marketing or publicity efforts to work, like you can go hire a publicist all day, but if your messaging is unclear, you're going to get somebody just going to take your money because they're not going to be able to turn that into anything for you. And if you don't understand how to leverage that publicity that you're getting and turn that into thousands of dollars on the back end, it's a wasted effort. Everything has to be intentional. Everything has to be focused. So this is where it kind of went left. This is where the conversation in the DM went left after I told her about her messaging needing to be more targeted and more focused, and the challenge being good for her. So she then responded, well, listen, you know, the dollar amount isn't important, making money isn't important, but what's most important to me is being an entrepreneur and inspiring others. That's what's most important, y'all. And this is when she responded in this way. This is when I put my coaching hat on. This is when I put my coaching hat on. And afterwards, she blocked me when I told her the truth. And so I wanted to do this live today to share 3 reasons why writing your book is not enough and some lessons that I wanted to share from this whole entire encounter. Okay. Number one of the things she said to me was that what was most important to her was being an entrepreneur and inspiring others. Listen, being entrepreneurship by being an entrepreneur, when you're successful, you will inspire others as a byproduct. Nobody's listening to a struggling entrepreneur. Let's just keep it all the way real. Nobody's listening. Nobody's lining up to listen to a struggling entrepreneur, because when you talking about inspiring someone else, that means that you are able to share your triumphs. That means that you are able to share, you know, the things that you have been challenged with and how you overcame them. Being an entrepreneur is not about giving all your items. It's not about giving all your knowledge or your services away for free. Being an entrepreneur is honestly at the core of it is not about inspiring others. You will inspire others as a byproduct, but it's not about inspiring others. Being an entrepreneur is about having a business, a successful business. And one of the things that people tend to forget, especially when you are an author, a self-published author, is that when you have a book, you have a business because you have a product that you are selling in exchange for money. Nonprofits give things away for free. Nonprofits give things away for free. Nonprofits help and inspire others. Nonprofits, everyone. But entrepreneurs, if you have never looked up the definition of an entrepreneur, I want you to take a moment and go and look up the definition of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs take risks, financial risks, substantial financial risks to go after their dreams and to build a business. This means that number one, this is the definition. You can look it up. This means that number one, you must either have money, you must either have access to money or a way to generate money. That means you have to have a product to sell. Okay. So for all of you all that's like, I don't want to make money from my book. I don't want to make money from my business. I just want to inspire others. What are we really talking about here? Because you cannot be an entrepreneur and not be about your money unless you want to be broke. Or unless you want to build your business off of depending on GoFundMe's and other, other platforms where people donate to help you. And as an author, you are an entrepreneur because you are creating a product to sell. I hope this makes sense. I mean, like, we have to be really real about what it is we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. And this is why I told her. I said, well, as an entrepreneur, this is the definition of an entrepreneur. So you can't say that you want to be an entrepreneur, but yet you don't want to make money. It clashes. And she may have gotten offended, but I'm like, I'm going to keep it all the way real with you, because with my mission and the goals that I have, like when you look at the literary space and the public speaking space, it is heavily dominated by white men. It is heavily dominated by white men. Like, let's keep it all the way real. And so my goal is to empower. Yes, I work with everybody, but the majority of my clients are women and women of color. And it's to empower women of color to monetize your expertise and your stories to create more financial options for yourself so that you don't have to continue to only depend on the job. The job is stable, stay there. I'm not the one that's going to tell you to go quit. I will never do that. But having a product, a book, a service, speaking topics, courses, coaching programs allow you financial options so that now you've got some flexibility. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to leave, you can leave. This is about financial empowerment. This is about elevation, but we're not going to continue to elevate and inspire and empower and do all the work for free. Because then you end up broke, busted, disgusted, and upset with up mad at the world because you're doing all the work and you have nothing to show for it. Which takes me to number 2. You can have all the books in the world. You can have published 5 books, 6 books, but it does not matter if you are not selling them. I was telling my coaching clients last night, it takes 400 books at $20 a piece to make $10,000. Why aren't you out here selling your books? Why aren't you out here selling your books in bulk to book clubs, to different organizations? So here's the thing. Selling your books means that more people are reading them. I hear a lot of authors saying, I just want to help people. I want to inspire. Well, you have to get out there and you got to put yourself out there. And you got to sell your product or you got to sell your service. Because when you really want to help people using your book, that means that you're selling as many books as possible. And hopefully the people that's buying your book are reading, they're reading it. And the truth of the matter is that if you're not selling your book, if you're selling your book, you're making money from it as a byproduct. And if not, and if this is not something that you want to do, if you don't want to make money from your book, your products, your services, then what you're doing is a passion project and you need to be honest about that. And like I told this young lady, I was like, listen, if you're not trying to make money from what it is you create, I can't help you. Because I help my authors, I help the people that I work with make substantial income. So you have to be very, very honest about what it is you want. If this is just a passion project, something that you're creating to prove to yourself that you did it, something that you're creating to show the world, hey, I have something, and that's the extent of it, that's cool. But you got to be honest with yourself about about that being what you want and it being what it is. So if that's what you want, there's not even any point in investing in marketing and publicity and all the things. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I see a lot of people being creative. I see a lot of people being creative and doing things in the name of creativity. Writing the books, creating the podcast, doing all the things, and you're doing, and it looks like you're building something, but you're not generating income from it. So at some point, we have to transition out of being busy and into being productive. And we have to transition out of looking like we're doing all the things and into actually making sure that we're doing the things that matter and that we're doing the strategically taking actions that are going to help us accomplish the goals that we've set for ourselves. Okay? Number 3, why writing your book is not enough. Because you can write the book, but then what else? You have to be coachable. So again, this person reached out to me because they felt like they needed help with marketing and X, Y, and Z. And I told them, listen, it's not the marketing, it's the messaging. The marketing is not going to help if your product looks like you self-published it. It needs to have a certain level of aesthetic. It needs to have a certain level of professionalism. The marketing isn't going to help if your book has some ambiguous title and we have no clue who you're talking to, or the solution that you're providing through your products and services. The marketing and the social media manager and hiring a publicist, that is not going to help. It's not going to do anything. If the foundation is not clear, if the foundation is not solid. And so we have to get to a space when we understand that when we reach out for help and someone corrects us, we don't take it personally. Correction is not personal. Someone telling you a better way to do things is not personal, and someone giving you advice and strategy on how to improve what you're doing and helping you course correct, it's not rejection. The truth of the matter is that if you want to improve and if you want to reach levels that you've never reached, then you absolutely have to be willing to listen to a different perspective from somebody that's done it before. And you absolutely have to have a willingness to do things in a different manner, because what you've been doing has gotten you to where you are. And when you want something different, typically you have to do something different. This is the truth. And I'm never going to sugarcoat it. I'm always going to be totally honest, because I want anyone who comes in my circle, I want anyone who comes into any of my workshops to leave better than how they came. And I want you to leave with clarity with strategies on how to actually improve on what you've already done and build upon that. And so you can write the book, but what's the plan? What are you going to do next to sell the book? What are you going to do next to actually turn your book into a business empire? What are you going to do? Because you can't possibly think that you're going to be grow a business if you don't want to make money. The only way you grow a business is by generating income. And the way you generate income is by serving the people and selling what you have. We have to start shifting our mindsets about what it means to make true impact. You can make impact and so much income, and it's not wrong. It's a good thing. That means that what you have created is selling. We have to stop thinking, especially those of us in the church. And I'm a believer, but we have to stop thinking that it's wrong to make income for the products and services that we've created. So why don't you want to make money? Why don't you? The Bible, I talked about this at Six Figure Storyteller Live. The Bible mentions money more than 800 times. Money is mentioned more than 800 times in the Bible. It says so much about money, such as leaving inheritance for your children's children. But that still boils down to something of a financial status. So why don't you want to sell your books? Why don't you want to sell your services? Why don't you want to generate income, substantial income? Because it's not about the money. However, it's about the lives you're impacting, and it's about the legacy that you're leaving. And this is why we have to start making the mindset shift. And this is why I'm teaching the Published and Paid Challenge. And like I told this young lady, and of course, this live stream is an extension of what I told her. It's only so much I could say in the chat. And she got upset with me after I said this. But I said, listen, if you don't want to make money, I can't help you. But you signed up for the Published and Paid Challenge. So this is not just about being published. This is also about being paid. So you got to understand that being paid from your book, it boils down to a whole lot more than marketing and business building strategies. I find that when people say they need marketing help, they're really not clear on what it is, what kind of help they need. No, you need to go back to the foundation, because if your product looks amateur and if it looks like you did it yourself inside of Amazon's cover designer, nobody's going to want to pay you top dollar for that. Like, let's be all the way real and let's cut the fluff. And let's stop being offended when somebody gives us real strategy and gives us real advice that can truly, truly help us change the trajectory of what we're doing. Published and paid is about being paid well. One of my clients in my accelerator program last night shared with us that she closed $45,000 in sales in 30 days. She's made $45,000 in 30 days. How does one have a book and transform that book into additional products and services and make in 30 days what many people make in a year? I know when she came to me, she wasn't able to do that. There was a lot of work that had to be done within this process. And a lot of it was mindset work about understanding and realizing the type of money that you could make and being comfortable with it and understanding that you deserve it and not being afraid of that, not being afraid of success. There was a lot of mindset work. And I'm so proud of her. So listen, we have to stop getting out of this attitude of feeling like of treating our books and treating our businesses like a side hustle. Because I know that me writing my first book changed my whole entire life. Changed my whole entire financial outlook. It really truly did. And so when I teach and when I speak about this, I'm not just teaching and speaking about this from something that I think. I've actually done it and I've helped other clients to do it as well. Thank you, Dr. Ramon on LinkedIn. Yes, the money will always follow when you are actually making impact. And we can't be afraid of that. True impact is going to yield some type of financial return. Again, unless you just want to have a nonprofit and you're giving everything away for free. But even in giving everything away for free, you're still going to have resources to buy things that you can give away. Like it makes like you can't say that you want to be an entrepreneur. You can't say that you want to help others, but you're not interested in making money. Everything takes resources. I'm looking on the platform. Tari says, "What if you don't have the audience or following to buy your products at that scale? You start with high ticket. When you're talking about a product, you start with a high ticket program, a premium price program, and you focus in terms of your book, you focus on speaking and selling your books in bulk. So I can't speak for everybody. I know I didn't start out with a large audience. I have consistently built my audience for years. And to be honest with you, this year 2022 is the first year that I've honestly and truly really leveraged ads. I've pretty much done organic marketing on a consistent basis up until this point. So if you don't have an audience, you have to build the audience. This means that you have to understand how to begin building your audience organically. And we teach this in my accelerator program. Right? And you don't have to have people to buy your products at scale. At scale, like you don't have to sell thousands of products. You can have a premium priced offer and a signature speech. And for an entire year, you focus on selling that one premium priced offer and you focus on delivering that signature speech as many times as possible and selling your books in bulk. You will surpass six figures. I'm telling you because I've done it. Premium price, what do we mean premium price? $1,000 to $3,000 or more. My first book, I turned that into a membership program. I turned that into online workshops. I turned that into a done for you service. In 18 months after writing my first book, we did $125,000. I haven't made anything less than $10,000 a month since, and that was in 2018. I published my book in October 2016, and um and in July of 2018, I crossed the six-figure mark. And I closed I closed 2018 with $125,000. The following year we doubled it, did 238,000 in 2019. In 2020, I made some company adjustments and we did 200, I think 83,000 in 2020. 2021, we tripled from 283 to 750,000. This year, we're still on track to close this year at $1 million in revenue. I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I've done and what I've helped other people to do too. And so one of the things I did not focus on selling $25 and $49 products and services. I didn't, because that wasn't going to help. That was going to keep me in the hustle mode. That wasn't going to help me um, build the type of business or live the type of life I wanted to live. Yolanda on Instagram says, did you stick with your one signature speech in year 2 as well? So I'm going to be about my signature speech. I had one speech in when I first started, because I didn't know nothing about speaking. But then as my business began to grow, I started feeling like I needed to have different speeches depending on what people wanted. And what I found is that I found a couple of things about when it comes to speaking. Speaking is just like building an online business. It's all the ingredients of the same. It's just different platforms. So if you want to scale a course, you focus on that one course and you make adjustments to it over time. You hone in on your messaging and get really, really clear on who exactly you're talking to. The same applies to a speech. A lot of people think that you need several speeches and all the things. No, you need one core speech that you present over and over and over again, and you improve it with time. Because your speech, just like a program, just like a product, just like people will refer a service, or just like people will refer somebody to your course or coaching program, you should be getting people to refer you to others for your speech as well. So, Yolanda, in year 2, I didn't stick with one signature speech because I had gotten off track. I started feeling like I had to start talking about a lot of different things. And to be honest with you, when it came to speaking, I felt like I could speak about so much. I mean, I could speak about automating and saving time. I could speak about automating tech. I could speak about building a six-figure business, while being a mom and a wife. I could talk about all of the things. I could talk about all those things. I could talk about online course creation. I could talk about career transitions, because for those of you all who are not aware, I was a teacher for 12 years. I was a middle school teacher for 12 years and transitioned into owning my own business. And so, Yolanda, I had become somewhat confused because it was like, where do I start with speaking? Because what I learned over the time is that speaking is a totally different business. That's a totally different stream of income. It's a totally different business. Oh, y'all asking questions. um, let's see. I had some other questions. So Yolanda, so to your point, Um, I had gotten off, and in 2019, I hired a speaking coach. I've spent so much money in speaking, but I hired a speaking coach, and we developed a core speech, and it was called Lead with Impact, Impact with an E, and that's where the Impact group actually came from. I ended up changing my company name to Impact with an E, because E stands for emotional intelligence. Impact is an acronym. And so that was my speech for a while, but then I got confused again, being in my head about stuff instead of just going out there and getting it done, just being in my head about certain things. And again, I was still speaking, especially during the pandemic. From about 2020 to mid 2021, I was speaking mainly virtually because everything had shut down. And I was speaking a lot about storytelling and business, a lot about, writing a book to grow a business and those types of things. But I knew that, this is limiting. I don't want to just be speaking at the writing conferences. I know I'm supposed to be speaking to women in leadership. And so it was actually as we really began to come out of the pandemic and the world start to open back up again, when I actually began to travel speaking, that I began to streamline things a bit more, if that makes sense. So now I specifically speak to women in entrepreneurship, women in business, women leaders, and women in entrepreneurship on leading with. I still have that core speech. And so now it's just about taking that speech and continuing um, to hone it and fine tune it. And what you'll find is that when you're speaking professionally, you have the same core speech. That means that you have the same core points that you share, but the examples and the stories that you tell um will adjust based on the audience. Business Girl 517 on Instagram says, "Were you selling multiple high ticket items at one time?" Um, Depends on what part of my business you're talking about. In the beginning, no, I was selling my publishing services. I had different tiers. Like you could buy based on which tier you purchase, you would get different things. And so that got me to that and speaking and selling my books is what boosted me over to six figures my first year. And then my second year in entrepreneurship, that's when I started adding VIP days. My third year, I actually shut my business down and only focused on my core, on my coaching program and on speaking. And with one program and one talk, we were able to scale. And this is why I tell folks, like, you don't need all the things. You don't need all the things. You don't need all the programs. You don't need all of the speaking topics. You need to be able to do one thing and do it exceptionally well. Because what I find is that when people tend to try to sell too many things all at one time, you don't give yourself time to perfect what you have. And people talk about scaling all the time, but scaling too fast will break your business. And that's what almost happened to me in 2020. We went from um 280 to 750K in a year. That meant more clients. That meant I had to build a team. I had to train a team. It was so many things. And there were things on the business end in terms of the business infrastructure that had to change in order to make sure that we were still providing a very high level experience for our clients, as well as building a team that was solid and was on one accord as well. So when you talk about scaling, I don't suggest to anybody to just try to scale and grow as much as possible overnight, because it's going to really reveal to you the parts of your business that need to be fixed. Instagram, y'all coming with the questions. Business Girl 517 says, "What did my product suite look like after 1 year?" I had my publishing services and my books and my speech. That was it. That was it. You After 1 year, I didn't have a lot going on. Like I was figuring things out. I had a membership community, but it was only like $25 a month, and we didn't have that many people in there. But that's what helped me start building community as well. My membership community was created as an extension of my book. I had my membership community first, before I offered any services or anything like that. I had my membership community first. Dr. Ramon says I'm giving the game. Dr. Ramon, like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm gonna be honest. But listen, if you haven't joined the challenge yet, you need to make sure that you go ahead and register. It's totally free. You can go to www.publishedandpaidchallenge.com. If you're on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio and it's right there for you to join. I'll be sharing this information and much more in detail next week. You don't need an extensive product suite. Like this is the thing. An extensive product suite is created after years. It's created bit by bit. It's not something that you create all at one time and then you try to sell all the things. No. It needs to be gradual. Gradual growth. That's what I do, and that's how I teach my clients. Thank you, Dr. Ramon, for putting it down on in LinkedIn. Yolanda, just pick one. Pick one and make sure that you are also doing some market research as well. So look up other speakers that are already speaking on the topic that you want to speak on, because if you can find other people that's already speaking on this topic and they're getting booked on it, that lets you know that there's a market for it. And that brings me to another point, not just you, Yolanda, but a lot of people that's watching me between all of these social media platforms. A lot of us try to create things because we want to create them without actually doing the research to make sure that it's already selling and that it's a market for it. And so you could very well be in content creation mode, creating, and doing all the things, and there not be a true market that's willing to pay premium price or high ticket for your products and services. But yes, Yolanda, pick one and go all in on it, like literally all the time. Get your footage. Like a lot of us like to try to start from up here. We got to be willing to start from down here and grow. And even when we create other aspects of our business, like for me, 2023 is the year I'm going all in with my speaking. All in. And I know that it's a growth process. I know that it takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months in order to be booked and paid, to speak, the 4 and 5 figures type of speaking engagements. I know that. That means that for at least 3 to 6 months, I've got to put in, no, it's publishedandpaidchallenge.com, Dr. Ramon. It's published and paid challenge. But I know for there's some groundwork that I'm going to have to put in. And a lot of people don't want to do the work. The work isn't fun, y'all. Being seen and stuff, we want all of that, but we don't want to do the work. The work isn't, you got to be willing to do the work. All right. Let's see. A Cuthbertson says, I'm looking forward to next week's challenge. I'm wondering how to write my book to share my story and approach without giving so much away that folks don't think they need to hire me. I'm hoping to leverage. We'll be talking about all of that. I'm really excited to, I think it's Ashley Cuthbertson. Business Girl 517. This live is calming me down from trying to do all the things. Doing all the things is not going to get you paid. Do one thing and do it exceptionally well. Like do one thing and grow it. Do one thing and nurture it. Do one thing, and then once you grow it, you nurture it, you get results from that, then you'll be able to scale that thing. You all on Instagram can't see. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube on one screen and Instagram on the other. But Dr. Ramon is tuning in from LinkedIn. He has one program that he is scaling. One program that he is scaling. Now, I've been in his ear about releasing the other program that we talked about that I think is going to be released soon. But one of the things that he said, he was like, I don't want to grow too fast. And I was like, I can't do anything but respect that, because you're absolutely right. And so he and his wife together have literally worked on scaling the program that they have. He's had 6-figure launches off of his current program done dissertation? Is that name of your I think that's the name of your program, Dr. Ramon? Where he helps doctoral students finish their dissertations in under a year. I'm going into school to enter into a doctoral program, and best believe I'm getting his program because I don't want to be doing this for over a year. But he's become known for doing that thing, and he's been able to get his clients exceptional results. So my thing is, if you haven't been able to grow and scale one offer, why are you adding more to the fire? Grow and scale that one offer. Fine tune your messaging. Understand and be able to talk to your ideal clients with your eyes closed. Be able learn how to overcome objections and understand the typical objections that you will get and perfect that thing and understand how to overcome them and build. Pamela D. Smith says, can you just have one speech and sell both orders, or do you need to have a coaching program? So here's the thing, and this is what I teach to my clients in my programs. You can have one speech, right? But if you're focused, most speakers don't get hired to go in as the keynote up front. Like typically when you're speaking, you have to build your way up to keynote status, which means that you'll be doing workshops and smaller trainings, right? Leading up to that, because you have to have reviews, you have to have footage and all the things for people to feel like you are worthy of the main stage and the main stage type of dollars, if that makes sense. So one of the things that people tend not to understand is that writing, speaking, and coaching go hand in hand. Yes, you can write your book and you can speak, right? You can speak. But if you create your coaching program, when you have people in the audience coming telling you how great of a job you did and asking you if there's any other way that they can work with you, that's where your course comes in. Your course also comes in because courses are scalable, guys. Scalable. We all saw what happened with the pandemic. A lot of speakers were shut down. Now, of course, you have virtual speaking opportunities. But a lot of speakers were shut down because events were canceled. Speaking is not scalable because you have to literally be present to do it. But a course or a program is more scalable. Speaking, if you're not actively speaking, you're not getting paid. However, you can create a course one time and get paid from it time and time and time again. This is why I feel every author, speaker, and coach needs all three. I call it the triple threat. So is it necessary for success, Pamela? No, it's not necessary for success. You can have, your book, you can have your speech, but even with creating a course, we have one of my clients in my mastermind, my accelerator mastermind program, Lisa. She was able to take the coaching program that she created in our program and go sell it to corporate and got a 5-figure consulting contract with that same program. So if you can get paid in both the online and the offline spaces, why not maximize both? I think that we tend to feel like they are different things, and really it's one and the same. It's just that you're presenting it in different spaces. One you will present online, and one you will present in the offline corporate training space. She absolutely is killing it, Yolanda. She is. It took her some time to build up that momentum, but once she got it, she got it. She's killing it. She did like 65 grand in the last 90 days with more coming in, selling bulk book orders, selling her consulting, and taking her her coaching program and selling it as a training program in the corporate space and facilitating it live. This is what people don't understand. And so we want to try to piecemeal it and begin to limit ourselves. That's I'm like, you can literally become published and paid. publishing your book, publishing your courses and coaching programs, and getting paid over and over and over again from them. Dr. Ramon on LinkedIn says, and folks can use live streaming like this to practice speaking. Having done over 100 episodes of talking about the dissertation process online has helped me to refine my keynote speaking. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, you don't have to wait. Your speaking career is not hinged upon you showing up in person. Right now, I've been speaking for 50 minutes. I've done almost a 60-minute keynote. Think about it. This is opportune time. All I have to do is turn on my camera and go live. This is opportune time for me to practice my points. It's an opportune time for me to elevate my vocabulary, to practice my delivery without saying all of the things, to have eye contact, to provide examples, to share stories, and to give actionable tips and strategies. And this is why I always tell my clients, turn on your camera and speak. We think that speaking is only limited to being on stage or being in front of a room. When you turn on a camera, you are in living rooms. You have the opportunity to be in rooms and in living rooms or in office rooms all over the world. All over the world. And so it really is about expanding your mindset around what is possible. Expanding your mindset around what is possible. And that's what I want you guys to get. So I'm going to go ahead and close out. It's been an honor chatting with you all today. This will stay up. It will be saved. And I definitely encourage you to come and join me in next week's challenge, Published and Paid, publishedandpaidchallenge.com. And I will see you there. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. Yolanda, make sure you come and join the Facebook group, because I know that you're in the academy. Make sure you come and join the Facebook group so that we can provide you with guidance and assistance while you're writing. And then we do monthly Q&As in there as well, okay? I look forward to connecting with you all. You're welcome, Stacy. I'll see you guys soon.